Homestead can just mean your house you own. Yes, essentially that is what we're talking about when we're talking about homestead property. So in Florida, homestead property would cover the primary residence of a natural person. So meaning it's not a company doesn't own it or a corporation. It's a person's home or a couple's home, right? One or more people who actually live in the home. And if you're in the city in Florida, then the property would cover an area of no more than 1/2 of an acre. And it can actually be separate lots that are connected to one another. All of them can be included in the homestead as long as it's not over the 1/2 acre. If you're in an unincorporated area, so not in city limits, it can actually go up to 160 acres. And there's no limit to the square footage that the residents can be, or the dwelling units on the property. And there's also no limit to the value. And this is kind of interesting when you think about it, because honestly, this is probably one of the most protected assets, if not the most protected asset in the country. So much so that it's virtually impossible for most creditors to get to the property. So it's highly, highly protected asset. And because in Florida, this is something that is written into the Florida Constitution. So the definition of homestead property that is covered in the Florida Constitution, it is highly unlikely that it would ever be repealed. So it's not easy to just repeal something that's in a constitution versus something that the legislature enacted that could potentially be taken back at some point in time. So it is amazing to have this protected asset, at least within the state of Florida. Homestead property is not always the same. It's not the same state to state, but within Florida, the protections that come under the Florida Constitution are very amazing, and like I said, most protected asset in the country. But you do have to remember that yes, it does. I get this all the time. The reason I'm bringing up the natural person is people will want a homestead property that is owned by an LLC or something of that nature. You can't do that. So it does have to be a primary residence of, like I said, one or more individuals to qualify. All right, I hope this answers your question. If you have any other questions about homestead property in Florida, estate planning, asset protection, Medicaid, or probate, and again, you're in Florida, don't hesitate to contact our office or atCAUSE Law Office, the non-stuffy attorneys, and the link is in my bio.